Do you know what time it is? It's Primetime, the official commissioner podcast of the Sim Madden League. Buckle up because it's gonna be lit. It's gonna be fire. Now, without further ado, here is SML legend Primetime 000.
Hey, what is up, SML? It's Primetime 000, and it is playoff time in the SML. As you know, it's my favorite time in the SML, and we have some big playoff matchups. Starting off, one of the more intriguing matchups, also the first matchup in the playoffs, as it starts at 9:45 a.m. Kind of what could be viewed as like a London type of game. The New York Football Giants taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, in my opinion, this 49ers team is the better team, whereas this Giants player is the better player. The record says it. I think Tiny's a little more diverse in his offense than what Biz is, and I think Tiny has had more recent success in the SML. I have helped coach Tiny. I think he's learned from some of my teachings, and he's taken that and he's expanded upon that, and he's gotten better. Some people said I was going to coach Tiny. He was going to be good for a season. And then he said, and they would say that he wasn't going to be good after that. There's some screenshots you can find him. QP was one of those fools that said that, and he was wrong. Tiny's really good now. Anyway, enough about me. Well, I'll talk about me in a second. Tiny Titan's going to win this game. And I think he's going to win by 2 scores. I think he's more playoff ready. He's got a quarterback that he's developed well, Darren Ross. 40 passing touchdowns. Those 33 interceptions are a little bit alarming, but Saquon Barkley has been a great runner as well for him. Here's my concern. I've watched Tiny play against AJ in the playoffs last season. He looked good. He was mixing up his play calling. He was sharp to start. I want to see that version of Tiny Titan. I do not want to see Tiny getting too pass happy or too run happy. I want to see him mix it up. 4,300 yards, 40 passing touchdowns. Still 1,500 yards on the ground. Good job, Tiny. But, hey, I got him winning. Another game we're looking at is Doink versus Dom. At first, we thought Dom might fair sim this game because he's leaving out of town. Doink is our reigning defending champion. He has set feet lead. He has a super team, a mega team. Whatever you want to say about Doink, he's got it. Desmond Ridder, Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. But there's something about D-Muse, and there's something about a division rival that I think should make Doink nervous in this game. And that's why I'm taking Dom for the upset over Doink. That's right. I'll say it. Oh, by the way, off topic here. You might hear some echoing. I'm not recording this in my usual room. I'm just trying to get this recorded to hype up the playoffs. So if there's some echoing, hey, at least you're listening to the show, right? But Dom's going to win this game. It's going to be close. It's going to be a 1-score game, but I think Dom's clock management, I think Dom's preparedness, and I think his hunger is going to help him overcome the team advantage of Doink and the Falcons. So Giants and Saints in the first 2. Here's a big one. I think everyone's expecting a blowout. Bengals and Bills, 2 great teams. Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. Dump is kind of... I mean, he's the guy who's everyone is expecting to win a Lombardi at some point this season, this cycle, with his Joe Burrow and this Bengals team. We talk about a super team. Well, this Bengals team is really, really, really good. I mean, you look at his quarterback, running back, tight end, receiving core is stupid. Defense is stupid. Whatever you think you want, he's got it. Look, realistically, I think Fig has a shot, but I got to go with my brain here, and I'm going to go with Dump. But I'll try to help Fig the best I can. I think Fig's going to have to play perfect. He's not going to, if he's going to beat Dump, he's going to have to not turn it over. He's going to have to run the ball well, and he's going to have to force Joe Burrow into some mistakes, which is really tough to do. I think I got to go Dump here. But hey, don't be surprised if this game's a close one. Steelers, Patriots. This one's our only Thursday night game. Dan and Bean. This one's a toss-up, in my opinion. What Dan is going to show up? When the cycle started, we hit the playoffs, and I had an infamous article I wrote, and you know what? Let's just pull it up right now. And as I'm talking, I'll continue to talk. But by the way, these guys played, and Dan lost to being earlier in the season, week 9. But I don't know if you guys recalled, but earlier in the cycle, back in September, I wrote this article, The Fading Genius of the Gridiron. Make sure to check it out. But pretty much I ended it with this note. The cliff is near. It happens to everyone. But does a weatherman have one more storm left in him? And he hasn't done anything since I wrote this article. I fear that Dan has hit the cliff. I fear that Dan's never going to win another Simbardi in the SML. And I've got Bean beating Dan. And honestly, it might be by 2 or 3 scores. I hate to say it, but I think Bean's more dialed in this season. I think Bean's more prepared. And I really fear for Dan in this game. I think this could really end it for him. Up next, moving on. This is an intriguing game as well. Division matchup, Winekilla versus QP. Q has set feet lead, as does Winekilla, so you can't really say one guy's got the advantage there. Q has played him already this season. Keep in mind, this game right here was a force win, so that one really doesn't count. But this one does. To me, I think Q is the favorite. I mean, he's got more playoff history. I think he's the more accomplished SML player. I think he's the better player, the more diverse player. So to me, I think QP wins this game by 2 scores. Wine is in the SML. He's learning the systems. He's learning the players. I just don't think he's quite arrived just yet. But we'll see. You never know. It's playoffs. And finally, the Cowboys and the Lions. Paulie, in his first playoff appearance of the cycle, I believe, against I Got the Meats. Toss-up game again. Meats has made the Super Bowl once this cycle. Paulie, again, finally making the playoffs. I think a lot of people would expect Paulie to lose this game, but I'm actually going to predict Coach Paulie to beat Meats. I think Paulie's going to be more prepared. I think Paulie is trying to prove a point that he can win. I just commentated a game of his versus QP, and he played him really well. He's at home, and I think the Lions, with that running game, with that kind of calculated passing game, is gonna force Meats into some errors. The only part where I could see Paulie might make a mistake is if he's forced to throw it down the field consistently. How will he fare? That's going to be the big question in that game. But I've got Paulie winning this game. And finally, obviously, there's Woods had a bye week. The Eagles and the Colts had a bye week. Colts' best record in the SML after missing the playoffs. Number 1 scoring offense. Number 3 scoring defense. I continue to amaze myself. No set feet lead. No inside stuff. When you look at this schedule, everyone says, oh, Prime this, Prime that. Prime had a 3rd place schedule. Yeah, he beat Wine, who, guess what, made the playoffs here. Oh, he played Straw Blacks, who, guess what, made Super Bowl season 1. I mean, people could say what they want to say, but the Colts are back. Only 1 loss this whole season to set feet lead, a 1-score loss. Amazing. Oh, and 4 wins were without Jonathan Taylor. Hey, guys, thanks for watching this playoff edition, playoff preview. Let me know what you guys think. Let's get fired up, commentate some games, and hey, playoffs are back in the SML.